Hey everybody, we are back with more Power with Pride. Up next is Jaxler with running Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. I'm going to let him just run with this right now, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from me during the run.
Alright, hello everyone, my name is Jaxler, and I'm going to be kicking off the horror block tonight with everyone's favorite horror franchise. It's Scooby-Doo. We're going to be playing Night of 100 Frights on the GameCube. This is the any percent no GGS category, and I'll explain exactly what that means a little bit further into the run when it becomes relevant. But I'd just like to apologize in advance because this game is very, very movement heavy. So there may be times where I just stop talking just to make sure I hit a certain platform cycle or something. So sorry in advance. I'm going to try to do the best I can here. But I'm just about ready to go on time, so let me know when you folks are ready for that.
I can tap yourself down. Let me know. I can tap you down. You can tap yourself down. Let me know what's best.
Alright, how about we start the timer on go? Alright. I'll start the countdown now. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so the first thing you'll notice starting off is the movement for this game is kind of intricate. The main thing I'll be using to start off this run is the bash ability, or the charge ability. I kind of swap between the two terms. This is normally like an attacking slash stunning move on most of the enemies in the game. However, it gives you a really huge speed boost. So I'm going to be using this as much as possible throughout the run. The other thing you'll notice is I'm collecting a bunch of Scooby snacks. And these are actually really important because there are a bunch of snack gates that are kind of like toll boosts, and they're like the money bags, if you will, of like the Spyro games. So we're going to be going out of our way in a lot of places to collect these Scooby snacks, such as right up here. I'm going to do a small skip right here. There we go. You are not supposed to be able to reach that chandelier until you have an ability called double jump. But doing that jump right there allows you to get those 10 snacks early from the 2 Scooby snack boxes. This game has very generous coyote frames, so when you jump off a ledge, there's a very large window of time where the game will allow you to jump even after you've fallen considerably off the platform. And we're going to be using that a lot throughout the run, but we're going to be heading off into the first major wing of the game, which are the dock levels. So going to do another extra snack grab here. I'm normally supposed to have double jump to get up here, but I do a precise jump, and it just lets me get up there. Most of the levels you're going to be seeing me play through are based on really tight cycles. So making this cycle here allows me to grab those 2 snacks, which allow me to avoid some slower snacks later in my route. If I miss a snack, it's not world-ending, but it's going to force me to grab slower backup snacks, so it's almost like an invisible time loss, if you will. But that was a very clean Dock 1. This second stage has probably the next skip, if you will, of the run. Shaggy's going to come in from a drop zone on this Pelican, and we're supposed to use him in combination with the life preserver to skip past the section, but I'm going to attempt to do it with just Scooby here. Alright, let's see here. Please? Thank you. Alright, not too bad. If you do the right time jump, you can just get right on top of the crate. And so, depending on how well you get that trick, it affects the cycle that you get with these hooks. And these hooks can just send you plummeting to your death, so I gotta be really careful there. So that's Dock 2. Now we're gonna be heading into Pier, and we're gonna start going towards the double jump. This game is built in a 3D Metroidvania format, if you can even believe it. Real quick, I did a kind of a task strat right there by complete accident. If you let go of your run and stop walking, Scooby will go into like a skid animation. And normally you're not supposed to be able to jump or walk on tar, but you can skid into it with the right timing, and it saves frames. But from here, this is the screen where we get the double jump, so I'm just going to be walking over to that real quick. Those crabs are evil. You have to walk very carefully or else you'll bonk into them, and they're kind of your worst nightmare. But here's double jump. There are a bunch of springs because physics. I'm going to be taking an intentional death here because the game sets your checkpoint to where you entered a screen, and it just sets you right back to the start of the screen right there. Gonna bonk off of this crab so that I can access this snack box without having the upgrade that allows you to walk on and run on tar, which you get from the first boss. But spoiler warning, we're not gonna be needing that. But now that we have double jump, we're gonna go access the second major wing of the game, which is the hedge maze. Right. So something that's really kind of unique about the charge bash is two things. It has really kind of finicky turning, so it Scooby is very slow to turn when he's in the charge. And he also has a bit of an acceleration factor to it. So there's a couple of places throughout the run where you might see me not perform a charge. And you're like, oh, Jax, why are you not doing a charge? Isn't it faster? And well, it turns out that by the time you get the charge started, it doesn't save you enough time to be worthwhile. So sometimes I'll just avoid it entirely. These hedge maze level in particular have some really tight cycles. That one I made right there allows me to grab that snack before that werewolf guy blocks my way. So Hedge 2 has a really cool little trick here that I'm going to be going for. I call it the Yeet Cycle because I found it, so I get to name it whatever I want. Let's see if I get it here. Yo, let's go! I got it! Okay, that's really hard. That wall has an invisible slope on it that the game considers enough of a floor where if you hit it the right way, it'll give you your double jump back and it allows you to skip having to wait for the platform to come back down. That's really hard to do, and I'm really glad I got to show that off. Alright, I also did a really swag strat there called a skid cancel jump. Like I mentioned with kind of like the skid that I did on the tar, if you jump out of a skid, the game considers you in a standing position, and it gives you a different kind of jump, and it affects Scooby's hitbox, so it lets you get up that ledge a little tiny bit faster. Also, this fence doesn't matter. So if you're walking that fence at the right angle, you'll just clip right through it. I got a really good clip, so that was pretty sick. I might actually be on PB pace right now, which is pretty hype, but we'll see about that. Because there's some stuff later that might trip me up. So normally if you've played this game casually before, you remember that you have to go through the rest of the hedge maze to reach the next upgrade called the helmet. And we don't want to do that in the speedrun because there's a particular level in the hedge maze that's a complete auto-scroller, and it takes 10 bajillion years, and I don't really want to do that. So what we actually do is we go through these set of levels that you're not even supposed to be here for a while until you get another upgrade. And we're going to do all of these levels backwards in order to get spat out at the same area we would normally. Alright, so this screen right here is probably the hardest of the four I'm about to be doing for the cliff segment. Oh, that's fine. So I'm trying to make a platform cycle in this first section of the screen where I only have like one or two major movement mistakes that I can make before I really jeopardize the cycle here. Gonna be doing another slope jump up here to be able to access platform, and this lets us grab a lot of snacks while we're actually waiting for that platform to come by. And you'll also see me right there. Okay, we made the cycle. That's good. That misses like 15 seconds if you miss it, so I'm glad I didn't screw that up there. So something that's also really cool is that you can actually continue a charge off a ledge, and if you have the double jump ability, you can actually get a single jump out of that. If you're out of your coyote frames too. So you'll be seeing me optimize my movement by doing these charges off of ledges just to save little bits of time throughout the run, and it really does add up. This game has a really high skill ceiling when it comes to managing your charges and your movement. Alright, we made a really good cycle there with those boulders. If you go there too slow, you are just gonna get nailed. Okay. I went a little too ham there, and I tried to go for a really fast cycle that doesn't exist. Alright, so this is Cliff 3. We're going backwards in order, so like the screen numbers go backwards. This also has some cycle stuff going on, but it's honestly kind of free, and there's not too much going on here. So Glitchless, now would be a good time for me one message or donation if you've got anything.
Yeah, we've got $100.
Holy cow!
Delphine. It says, "Hi friends, thank you for this amazing event and all the good you do." Thank you, Epsilon.
Thank you so much. Alright, so the game expects us to come in from the other side of the screen here, so they put this really evil fishy lady there, and I kind of hate it. But the main gimmick of this screen is I'm going to be extending some charges between platforms here. They actually placed a lot of these breakable platforms close enough to the main, like, boardwalks here that I can continue some charges when I'm normally not supposed to be able to. And that's going to allow me to more kind of safely make these boulder cycles here. Gonna grab those 3 stacks there for marathon safety purposes, and then we're going to be moving into the last cliff segment and the fastest one. I'm going to be going for another slope jump here to save a cycle on the platform. Alright, we got it. So that one it's a little bit easier to see where the slope is, but it's really finicky sometimes. And a fall there is kind of bad, so I'm glad I got to show that off. So the charge past that cave guy is really important, and I'll mention this a bit more in depth later, but when you charge, Scooby's hurt box actually becomes way thinner. It's kind of like a angel hair pasta noodle. It's like that small. It's really tiny, and I'm going to be using that a lot in especially the later levels to avoid taking damage from enemies when I really should be. It makes for some really cool strats later on. So I'm gonna, got the bat bonk. That was pretty cool. You can use the bat to bounce there, or there's a small piece of slope that I can use to get myself up there, but bat bonk is pretty swag. So the helmet upgrade is at the top of this hill, so this is where we would normally exit after having completed all the tomfoolery in the hedge maze, but I don't really have time for that. Doing some rock climbing over there to avoid having to wait for some platform cycles, and then there's the helmet right there. That crate right there has 4 boxes of Scooby snacks, which is a lot, so we're going to grab those, and then we're going to do another intentional death right here. This is going to put us actually right back by the warp gate for this level, and then we're going to start heading back towards the dock. I also love that menu. So we're supposed to go into the manor to defeat the first boss. But we're not going to do that. I'm just going to jump over this invisible wall, and we just skip the first boss in about 7 seconds. So ignoring that, we're moving on into probably one of the hardest sets of levels in the run. These are the fish factory levels, or fishy clues, as they're called, canonically speaking. The movement on these conveyor belts is really hard to optimize, and the flying fish here operate on these cycles that are really dangerous. And if they hit you the wrong way, they can send you careening off of these, and it's really slow to try to climb back on. So avoiding a fall there is really important. Alright, so you're going to see me mash run and charge into this. If you run or charge into a cutscene, you kind of skid into the cutscene. This is the only real way we have to move during that cutscene, so it's a small little optimization. This is another level with cycles, but it's mostly free, and it's kind of auto-scrollery, so, Glitchless, you probably have time for 2 messages.
Well, we've only got 1 donation sitting in the bucket from, $5 from Chaseful. Thank you very much. But I can remind everybody that we have plenty of marathon to go, lots of incentives. Even coming up very, very there is an absolute choice for Dino Crisis and Silent Hill Homecoming. Wonderful things to put your money towards, lots of interesting ideas and lots of new outfits, honestly. And beyond all that, we've got Iron Crisis for the character, which is still anyone's game. The only one ahead is Yoshi right now with $20, and you can easily overtake.
Alright, so cool strat right here. I skipped half of the screen here by abusing that platform cycle to vault over the invisible divider that separates the level in half, and that saves a whole heck of a lot of time in this screen in particular. Going down there specifically just to grab a couple of buffer snacks, and then this is probably one of the trickiest screens to be optimal in for the Fishy Clue segment. Just trying to grab a bunch of snacks while also not losing time to bad platform movement. Trying to run with these conveyors as much as possible here. Gonna grab a couple extra snacks there for safety. And then I'm trying to not land as much as possible on that backwards conveyor belt to avoid just getting stuck in place. We're gonna be moving into Fear on the Pier, which is kind of a transition level. These high up ones, I'm gonna be using my standing jump specifically so that Scooby's got two types of jumps in this game. There's a standing jump and a running jump. And generally speaking, Scooby's hitbox is taller from the standing jump. So you're gonna be see me using the standing jump a lot to grab snacks that are high up in the air, or you're gonna see me using the running jump a lot in order to make some platforming sequences a bit easier. So we're moving into Coast for some Ghosts, which is one of the more difficult segments for me personally. It's very hard to keep a good snack route throughout this segment. So right here, I'm actually gonna throw in a charge right here, which lets me just cruise right by that came in, and I'm gonna do a specific fall there so I grab as many snacks as possible. You're normally not supposed to collect a lot of snacks in here without the umbrella upgrade, but we're gonna use some specific falls to get as much of those as we can. Forgot to mention it, but I did a small cutscene once we reached outside of the cave area by jumping on that light post. Just detouring slightly to get a bunch of snacks that are chilling out here. And then we're on a pretty good cycle, which means there's a fish lady that's chilling in the next part where there's a bunch of keys. And generally when I come here in a fast cycle, the fish lady is always really close to me, which means she starts to chase down. So you're going to see me using the narrowed hitbox of my charge to try to avoid her as much as possible. I unfortunately bonked on her, so I'm going to let her be a little bit dizzy for a second. While I grab this last key here. I'm going to initiate a charge while the game figures out that I'm supposed to be able to grab the key. And then we're moving into Coast 2. This is a really, really tight cycle that I'm going to try to show off if I can make it. I'm going to focus here real quick. Okay, yeah, cycle's ripped. You can't even make it with one bonk, really, which is kind of unfortunate. Saves, I don't know how much time it saves. It saved me 8 seconds off my gold when I got it for the first time, but there we go. We got the second fastest cycle. Coast 3 is pretty simple. In the regular any percent, so with GGS, this level has a pretty crazy skit. To get some extra snacks that you'll see in the background over there by that monster token. The reason why is that, so I'm just going to lay something out here in advance, kind of slight spoilers for the run, but it's not really that big of a deal, because if you can't tell, this game's kind of broken. We're only going to be fighting the final boss. There are 4 bosses in total, and we're going to be fighting one of them. We're going to be fighting 2 of them in this run, but in the regular any percent run, you only fight 1. However, the skip that you do to skip that boss is very difficult and pretty unsafe, marathon-wise. So we're going to be doing the no GGS route of any percent, where we're going to go, deep into the hedge maze wing of the game and go fight the green ghost to get the umbrella upgrade, which I'll talk about a little bit more later once we start approaching that area. But we're going to start heading towards Lighthouse now. The main reason that we're coming all the way out here in the first place is that we need a new ability called the Smash. That's going to allow us access to the area of the hedge maze that leads to the green ghost and the umbrella. And it's also required in all categories because we need it to kill the final boss. So we're going to be doing that soon. Okay, so that tar monster can be either on the left or right. We want the tar monster on the right so that we can take a tighter line. Alright, so we have to meet this light bulb up at the top. So you're gonna see me grabbing a bunch of these snack boxes while I'm waiting for that to come up. And this is probably the most apparent abuse of the small hitbox of Scooby during the charge. I'm gonna try to breeze past through as many of these monsters as I can using the charge. And it totally looks like I should be getting hit. And you're completely right for thinking that, but like I said, Scooby's hitbox is ridiculously thin during the charge. Okay, I missed that one, but that's not a big deal. Normally I do have to be a bit careful, because if you bonk on too many of them, and you take too long to get up here, it'll actually leave without you, and you have to go back down and reset it. Also did a cool strat called a bonk cancel, where as soon as I charged into the light bulb, I input jump within a very specific timing, and that canceled like the bonking animation on the light bulb, and that saves not a whole heck of a lot of time, but it's really cool looking. Alright, so normally we could just warp straight to the next area because there is a warp gate here. However, there's so many convenient snacks here that we're just going to be collecting a bunch of them while you're here. And I think most routes and categories end up collecting the majority of the snacks in this level. I might be wrong on that though, as far as history goes. Gonna collect a couple snacks down here for safety because I think I'm a little bit behind on my snack route. And then we are going to be heading back towards the hub. So we're going to be heading back towards like the first cave screen where we started our trip towards the helmet, because that's where it splits off towards the path to Green Ghost. So we're actually going to be specifically backtracking through the hedge maze. And the reason why is that if we tried to warp right to that screen, there's like a snack gate toll booth that would get in our way. And that costs like $4.50, and that's really slow to grab 450 snacks. So it's much faster to backtrack through hedge maze. You're also going to get the chance to see me go for the really cool platform cycle. I've never gotten both of them in one run, so who knows, maybe this is the blessed run. Alright, let's see if I get this. It's much easier on this one because you don't have snacks to get. Oh, I missed it. It's alright, I missed it in my PB. Honestly, this might actually be on PB pace. Okay, that bonk doesn't help. I'm gonna shut up now. So the movement through here is a little bit different, and we can fit in some charges in different ways because we don't necessarily have to worry about collecting all of the snacks here.
You got time for a donation?
Yeah, one really quick one.
We've got Lily Snow. $10, Lily. It's awesome to see that 1,100 Frights at run at a marathon. It was my first real speed game. It's wonderful to see it supporting a great cause. Good luck with the run, Jackson. Here's to popping missing.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we're gonna do a really major skip here right off the bat. I'm gonna lure this fishy lady over to this corner. And, oh, we missed it. Okay. There we go, second try. That was really close. So we used the fishy lady, to reach the loading zone for that door. And normally, we need to, grab an upgrade in the basement of the manor called the plungers in order to, walk on very slippery surfaces. But by using that fishy lady, we can just jump over the sloped surface and get right to the door. And that skips a lot of time. Alright, so we have everyone's favorite level here, the mandatory auto-scroller with the mandatory unskippable cutscene here. So part of the reason that the snack routes between the two any percent categories are so different is because of all the snacks that we get in this level and a lot of the other levels that we end up visiting as a result of the two different routes here. Alright, so... oh, please. So ideally you want to get there fast enough so that the fishy lady doesn't block your way to that snack box, but not the end of the world. It's a marathon. But yeah, we are chilling in the anxiety-inducing rising water level. So this is a really, really good time for upcoming incentive messages if you've got anything to talk about with regards to those.
Oh, I'm sure I can. Unfortunately, no donations at the moment, but I can remind the world why we're here today watching, if you've forgotten to power up this crowd. We are here today... Where was I? I'm sorry, my book. We are here today for... Push the talk. If you're wondering what the Trevor Project is, or what we're... The Trevor Project is the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ young. We save lives. Not we. They save lives by providing support through free and confidential suicide prevention and crisis intervention programs. Oh. For the last 20 years, the Trevor Project has worked to save these lives. Online through the front, through the Trevor Lifeline, Trevor Chat, Trevor Text, and Trevor. We also go beyond the frontline crisis services, invest in educational outreach and advocacy resources. And today you can donate to that to help this wonderful, wonderful cause. And your donations can go towards wonderful, wonderful donation incentives and bit wars. Especially coming up, we've got Dino Crisis with a that would be a costume choice bid, which is anyone's game right now. There is $0 towards that, and you are welcome to put money towards that. I'm not sure what these outfits actually correspond to, but if you know Dino Crisis and it is your favorite thing in the world, now's the time to put money towards it to get your favorite outfit up there. If Dino Crisis isn't so much your choice, we've got Silent Hill coming up right afterwards with more costume choices, and then a character bid board for Mario Kart 64, followed by Mario Kart 8 bid board.
Alright, I'm gonna interrupt you briefly for a moment. We're in the crypt area of the game now, and right here I just did a cutscene skip where I died as the cutscene was being initiated, and the game is gonna lock me into a really weird state, and you're gonna see my UI is gonna be slightly messed up because the game still thinks I'm in a cutscene right now, and doing that death allows us to skip like a 30 to 45 second cutscene. I'm not exactly sure what the time is because I usually skip it. But doing that is really important. But this is kind of an auto-score segment. I'm not exactly sure what these stones we're stepping on are. This looks like some kind of mausoleum, and that, quite frankly, that disturbs me a bit. But to be fair, this is the horror block, so par for the course, I guess. Give me that. So we hit all 4 of these switches now, and I'm going to be doing another charge off a ledge there just to save some frames. And into the door right here. So there's another similar cutscene skip that is basically impossible, and I missed it. If you do a very specific skid cancel out of that cutscene, you can fall into the pit. I've only seen someone do it once before. I'm sure it's been documented more than once, but like, it's so insane. It's basically not RTA viable right now, as far as I'm aware. Maybe there's some setup that I'm not aware of. Okay, we avoided the werewolf, good. That werewolf is evil because he's off screen, and sometimes it's hard to tell what cycle you're on. At least for me, because I'm kind of bad at this game. Sort of. Alright, so really simple screen right here, and then we're going to start making our way towards Green Ghost here. So I guess I'll take this opportunity right now to kind of talk about Green Ghost and kind of what makes Green Ghost so awful. So Green Ghost is a really RNG-based fight. It's kind of random when the game allows you to do damage to this boss. But it is required for this category, so we need to fight the Green Ghost. But we do some cool little platforming skips there to save some time on grabbing these keys. Alright, so Green Ghost is here. We're gonna hope that Green Ghost goes to the middle here, please. Oh, you jerk. Alright, you went to the right. That's not too terrible. Now we're gonna hope Green Ghost goes to the middle. This is basically, we hope Green Ghost goes to the correct location. Looks like Green Ghost is kind of cooperating right now, which is pretty great. Alright, so Green Ghost is gonna attack. That's actually kind of good. I kind of wanted that. Oh, Daphne, where are you going? Honey, where are you going? Alright, okay, this is kind of going out of control now. Green Ghost, please. Green Ghost, please. Come on. Marathon luck in a nutshell. Yeah, I'm kind of getting the works from Green Ghost right now, which is par for the course. Okay, that's the last hit.
Green Ghost was doing his own marathon run.
Yeah. Alright, so there goes Green Ghost. I did a cool platforming skip to avoid having to use the umbrella there. And I also exited the loading zone, which skips a small text box too. So now we have all of the equipment that we need to go take on the final boss, only after one boss fight. So we're going to go do that now. We're going to go head towards endgame, now that we have the slam and the umbrella here. So creepy crawlies in the hallways is kind of scary. I'm going to grab this snack box, which I'm not sure how the heck you're supposed to be able to find that casually. It's basically off-screen at every camera angle. It's kind of evil, and I sort of hate the developers for it, but it's a free 5 snacks for speedrunners, so that's cool. Okay. Grabbed an extra snack there just to be safe. And then this screen is really cool because there's a bunch of skips going on here. Alright, so these bubbles from the cauldrons are supposed to damage you. But if you jump at it the right way, you can abuse their very terrible hitboxes to avoid taking damage. And, alright, we got damageless. And I was on 1 health, so I'm kind of glad I got damageless because I would have taken a death otherwise. And if you die before getting all the keys, you lose them. Alright, so skip right here. You're supposed to get Shaggy to reach this key, but I don't really care about Shaggy here. So now we're gonna skip the 3rd boss. We're supposed to use some like bats to create platforms here, but if you just jump at the right places at the wall, the game kind of just keels over and allows you to progress. Alright, so we are in the final stretch of the game right now. We're in Little Lab of Horrors. These are the last set of levels. Gonna do a really cool skip here where I get on top of these platforms that are supposed to descend down. And that just lets you skip this entire sequence right here. And, nice hitbox game. So, we're gonna be grabbing 1 more box, and then we're gonna have all of the snacks that we need. But we've got a couple more major skips coming up still, so still a lot to look forward to in this run. Also, that was a really nice dodge. That was a really solid start. So this is Lido skip. There's normally 2 more screens of Little Lab of Horrors, but there's a pit of slope right there that's just enough to get over here, and that's gonna get us to our last snack gate. Really glad I got that first try. That skip's pretty difficult because it's basically a blind jump to a slope that's off screen. So that was really solid. So we actually do have to host Shaggy this time. For this category, if you're playing the 100% category, you can do a trick called soap clip, where you get an enemy and you soap them to create like a soap sphere, and you can just clip through the door and completely abandon Shaggy 100% of the time, which I wish we could do, but wrong category. I'm gonna avoid Shaggy here a little bit, as a personal preference strat. Sometimes when after you use Shaggy for the first time, he likes to swing a bit, and I have lost runs to, just taking a bite, or getting a bite from the shark. So we got Shaggy up there, that was pretty clean. And we are almost done with the run now. We're 1 screen away. This next screen has the final boss, Mastermind. So we're going to be coming into a cutscene here. This run is actually really solid so far, other than Green Ghost kind of bullying me a bit. I'm going to do a cool platform cycle skip by timing a ground pound right there, just to wait for the stall for time while the platform comes up. And then I'm going to just go over here and ram into this corner, and the game will eventually keel over and allow me to pass, please. Please. Want to let me in game? That's not what I meant. There we go. Alright, so that wall just kind of doesn't care enough to let you pass sometimes, so not too big of a deal. I also have to intentionally take damage there, because those lightning fields are programmed not to disappear until you've entered the opening cutscene. So doing that out of bounds clips skips the initial cutscene for the boss fight. So we're in the final boss. We have to defeat some waves of enemies before we can lure the boss of Mastermind down here. Oops, don't want to do that. Okay. These Funland robots have really bad hitboxes sometimes, so they can be a little finicky, but this is looking pretty good. Alright, so we hit the buttons enough times, so now Mastermind's gonna come down. And Mastermind can spawn in a bunch of different places. Ideally, all we need for him to do is spawn just close enough. The goal is to knock him in. Oh my goodness, that's perfect RNG. Holy cow. Alright, get it ready on time. That was perfect. Time. Holy cow, that was perfect, Mastermind.
Congratulations.
What was my time?
We are pulling that up in just a moment.
Wow, that was insane. I'm curious, because that might have been...
like a, sorry, 32:58.
Holy crap, that tied my PB from a couple days ago. Holy cow, that run was really good. Wow. That was so sick. Alright, so that was a lot of fun. This speed game is really amazing. There's a lot of depth to it, and there's also a bunch of other really cool categories that explore a lot of the junk that we skipped here. So if you grew up with this game, or you found this game remotely interesting, go to the speedrun.com page. It's speedrun.com/n100f. You can find our Discord link there, and there's a whole like boatload of tutorials there. Like the communities for this game has just put out a ton of amazing content for this game. This run is really easy to pick up. So I would highly recommend picking up. It's a really fun speed game, really good 12-hour challenge run even. Yeah, also this end cutscene is pretty hilarious. I doubt that we have time to show it, although I did go like almost 7 minutes under estimate. But yeah, wow, that was such an insane run. I guess before I go, I'd like to really thank the Scooby-Doo community for being really supportive. I know I haven't been around for a long time, but thank you all for welcoming me with open arms. It's been a really fun ride so far. Check out our Discord group on the speedrun.com link if you're interested in picking up the game. All of the runners hang out there. It's a pretty great party over there. Also, let me clarify, that wasn't remotely close to my PB. My PB is like a 32:27. Also, shoutouts to the villain of the game being the person that we ran into within like the first like minute of the run once. Great plot. If we do have time, which I assume we don't, but if we do have time, I'd like to at least show off the credits theme, because it's like a dubstep remix of the classic Scooby-Doo theme, and it's way better than it has any right to be. So if you want me to stall for time, we can jam out to that dubstep theme. Need to get going, but I assume we need to get going.
Honestly, dubstep remix of
Alright.
has sold me. Go
Alright, cool. So we're gonna listen to the rest of this cutscene. Oh, quick shout out. I'd like to shout out Don Knotts for the voice acting for the groundskeeper. Don Knotts is a legend, and I just find him very hilarious. I believe we have a like a extensions category to visit Don Knotts in every location in the game. It's pretty great. But yeah, this speed game is really, really fun. Please try it out if you're at all interested. If you like the sound of my voice for whatever reason, you can find me on Twitch at Jaxler1. Wink, wink. Yeah. Totally not gonna sell up. But yeah. Yeah, this game's amazing. I know it looks like a really goofy game, but like this is one of the most underrated platforms of the GameCube era. I highly recommend even just casually playing it. It's not hard to find a disc, which is kind of a shame, but play this game. It's really fun, especially if you like Metroidvania style games. We skipped like 80% of the Metroidvania progression, which is kind of hilarious. But this game's a really great casual play, so I highly recommend it. Alright, here comes the dubstep remix. And there's Don Knotts in the background doing some mime. Alright, here it is. Soon. Stop laughing, game. Here it is. Here we go. This is so good. Can I get a sour please in chat? I'd also like to quietly point out some of the very ridiculous nicknames that some of the development team has. Probably my favorite is the person who got nicknamed the Bug Killer, and yet you can beat this game in under 26 minutes. That's kind of funny. Zibala Shot Caller. Alright, I'm gonna let the song play.
This was very worth it.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, good thing this wasn't like a 35, so we actually had time to play this. I'm really glad because I've been hitting like 35s in practice, and I just dropped like a high 32, so I'm like, alright.
You gotta make this your donation incentive next time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I regret everything. Next submission, I'm gonna submit Don Knotts % as a donation. The ultimate meme.
Oh, this was beautiful. It still is beautiful.
It still is beautiful. I always like the part when it goes like it like rises up. I think that's coming up. This mix is so bizarre. It's hilarious. It's so good.
Not disappointed at all.
Oh, poor Razmig.
I mean, he killed bugs. He didn't check the walls for being solid.
Yeah, he really didn't. The song also perfectly lasts the entire length of the credits, which is also interesting. So yeah, that's it, everybody. That is Scooby-Doo 9 of 100 Frights. Beaten in a shorter amount of time than it takes your dinner to come out at the restaurant. Hope you all enjoyed that performance. I've been Jaxler. Thank you so much for watching. We've got a whole slew of awesome horror runs coming up very shortly. Really excited for those. You all should stick around. Keep on donating. Keep on watching the stuff. This is an amazing event, and I'm really proud to say that I've gotten to be a part of this organization for so long. So thank you all for having me. Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Thank you, Jaxler. And you all stay tuned. We've got Dino Crisis coming up next by its Oasis. Thank you, friends, and enjoy the show.